Actually today, I don't know if this is a good thing to test or a bad thing. It's probably a good thing, but it's blazing hot in London. I'm sweating through my stuff, okay? So I am gonna test all of the makeup, and then I'm gonna go for my errands and come back in a few hours and show you the progress. Let's just go ahead and start with the face. There are two ranges of makeup when it comes to Primark, and one is the PS and the other one is the PS Pro. And the PS Pro is a little more expensive, it's like double the price or something. And some items like primers and such things that are a little more fancy you can't find in the PS. So this is an illuminating primer from PS Pro. I believe there are other primers like mattifying primer and such. I went for this one because I usually go for illuminating primers. And this cost £5. It was one of the most expensive items. I do have to say though, shopping makeup at Primark is a feat because everything's destroyed. 75% of the stock was like non-usable and non-sellable. Especially the eyeshadow palettes, they were all destroyed. So this is what it looks like. It's very liquidy and it looks pretty illuminating. I feel this is more like a moisturizer with the sheen type of product, where you don't see exactly illuminating bits, but it is kind of like dew-inducing a little bit. And I think there were foundations in the Pro section, but I found one in the PS section, and this was 2.5. It's the shade Porcelain, and this is medium coverage, semi-matte finish, oil-free. There was also a matte finish, and I think only those two from what I gather. This actually looks like it was open before, because I didn't even peel it back. It was just like that, but I'm gonna go ahead anyway. And I failed to mention that I'm gonna use my regular accessories and tools, so that won't be a factor in the quality of the makeup. So yeah, okay. Right away, I don't love the finish, but I love the color match though. I gotta give it to them. That's pretty great. Most brands, even drugstore brands, don't have my shade. And it's usually, even if it's porcelain, it's usually very warm, and this isn't. It's a very neutral, I'd say, porcelain shade, which is great for me. Actually, you know what? It's not too bad. Once I bounce my blender a little bit, the texture's not that bad. It's actually better than the Destiem one. This says medium coverage, I believe. Yeah, that sounds about right. And yeah, oh my god, I'm not hating this foundation. I legit thought I would hate this. This is how it looks right after. The only concealer I can find, I don't know if it's the only one they carry, but the only one I could find was the PS concealer, which is a stick one, and it costs 90p, so it's pretty cheap. I'm not gonna say inexpensive, it's just cheap, okay? It's not affordable, it's cheap. This was the fairest shade called Ivory. So I'm gonna go ahead and do my under eyes, even though I don't think this is under eye material. I'm also gonna do a few of my spots. But you know, I like to use different concealers for my eyes and my pimples because I just feel like they serve very different purposes. So the formulas should be different. It is not that bad, you guys. It's not bad. What is happening? Do I like Primark stuff now? This is better for under eye than it is for pinpoint concealing. The texture is great under eyes. I don't think that I've been able to completely cover my acne areas, but I'd say it's like 80% coverage, which is not bad. They had PS powders that were the cheapest. I believe they were £2.5, £2.5 pounds. But they only had one shade, which I think was called Warm Beige. I don't know if they only have one shade or they only had one shade at that particular store, but it was too dark anyway. So then I found the translucent one. Here's a hair inside it. I don't know if you can see it, but I've never opened it, and there's a hair. And there's this translucent one, and there were at least two. This was the HD, and then there was the mattifying, and the price was £5 as well. It is pretty powdery. I can feel my face just tightening up. But, you know, my skin is crazy, so probably for most people this is what a powder should feel like. It is pretty matte. And this is like the finish. So for eyes, I didn't find any cream shadow, which is what I wanted to use as a primer, but I did find a primer, and this was £2. Flesh colored for me, I mean this is my flesh color. It's probably gonna go very sheer. very like silicone type. So for my brows, you know I'm a usually brow gel kind of gal, but they didn't have any brow gels, so I found this PS brow pencil. It was £1. There were a few shades, none that were particularly me. This is called Cool Brown, which I believe is a little darker than I am. Firstly, this is like a regular pencil and not like a brow slated pencil, so yeah, this is just a little too dark for me. I also need to get my brows done. I mean, they're not particularly well done. It's pigmented and easy to correct if you make a boo-boo. I don't know if they had a brow gel, like a clear brow gel to go over top. I didn't find any. I'm gonna go into my eyeshadow palette. Now, this is the one I picked up because it was legit the only eyeshadow palette that was decently alive when I picked it up. I think there were two other types of palette. There was a nudie one that I wanted to try more than this one, but they were all destroyed. Okay, first let's go with an overall crease shade, and it's this one, matte one right here. A lot of fallout. I'm gonna deepen that crease a little with this one right here, which is also matte. They are very blendable, they're not chalky, and they're buttery, so I can't complain about that. Just gonna go ahead and use this little shimmery one. I cannot lie, even just dipping my brush in it, it doesn't have a lot of fallout, and it just feels creamy. I would have never guessed this was such a cheap palette, to be honest. For the lower lash line, go to town. I'm also gonna grab a little bit of this and do an inner corner, although I wish this was a little less gray and a little brighter. They have, I think, 3 types of different mascaras. I bought the Iconic Intense in Black. This was £2 as well. It's one of those plasticky ones. So let's just... I don't hate this mascara. And I am very picky with mascaras. It's not like my favorite, but it does lift my straighter than straight eyelashes. They didn't have a separate highlighter that I could find, so I bought this Bronze Baked Shimmer that has a highlighter here and then 2 bronzy shades, and I'm gonna go into that highlighter first. And this was $2.50, and then they also had this blusher that I really like the color, which was $1.50. So I'm gonna just dip into the little whitey part. Yeah, nothing. Oh, first disappointment product. Okay, something is coming up. It's not very cute. It takes a lot of effort, but I am getting there. I'm gonna wet my brush a little bit as well. Okay, easier. See? Okay. I worked a lot to get this. I think I lost patience on that side, but it's fine. I'm gonna go full on bronzer with this. This product is just, there's no pigmentation at all. Nothing is coming out. It's like hardened. And the blusher, I feel, has more pigmentation. It's hard to blend like seamlessly. So I put a lot of it. I'm gonna go over with my blender. And it does like accentuate some of my dry flakes and stuff. Finally, I'm gonna go into the lip product. This is a crayon. They have lipsticks, but this one was the one that caught my attention the most, and its price is £2, and the color is, this is a velvet matte lipstick crayon, and the color is Ballerina. It's like a muted peachy pink. Actually, I really like this color. It's like a nude, really. It didn't seem like, it seemed like it would be stronger here, but formula is actually also pretty cool. It didn't accentuate my dry flakes, and I have them, so I have so many right now, so it went right through them and masked them, and I really like that. It's not streaky, and it is opaque. My overall first impressions, though, were very good, especially on the eyeshadow palette and the mascara and the lipstick. I think those 3 kind of surprised me the most. The base did surprise me, but I think it's not gonna fare well throughout the day, but we'll just see. Yeah, I'll be back in a few hours and we'll talk all of these through. See you in a little bit. I am back. It's been around 6 hours ever since I applied this makeup. I went outside, it was 29 degrees out, I believe, so sweat happened. Overall, I'm very impressed with this foundation, the base in general. It was a tough day to get through, and it's not as bad as I thought it was gonna be. A little bit of like around the nose started disappearing, which usually happens. It is a little patchy here. I still feel like this isn't as patchy as the Deciem one. This specific pimple did get a little uncovered and also like really patchy. But I think the main issue here wasn't with the foundation, it was with the fact that I didn't have a proper concealer on top. Honestly guys, you know I'm a bit of a snob for makeup. It's not the best foundation I've ever had, but for £2.50, it's legit good. I'm gonna like smudge through them so you can see like how smudge proof this is. It isn't very smudge proof, but also not like really concerning, I think. Eyeshadow though, it stayed put all day. There's little to no creasing. I'm overall impressed. Only products I definitely do not recommend. First is this one. This is called the PS Bronze Baked Shimmer. It looks like this. It has no color payoff whatsoever. I would not buy this HD powder or recommend them to people with very dehydrated or dry skin. I think for people with normal to oily skin, it's fine. It's very finely milled. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and let me know if you want me to do more of these like affordable first impressions whole look tutorials. Also let me know if you've ever tried Primark makeup and what you think of it, and if you haven't tried, why haven't you? Is it because you're like a little bit of a snob when it comes to makeup and beauty in general?